All right, so homework on page 73. Now, just like yesterday's, the more times that you measure from Alvarado to Oklahoma City, the better it's going to be, the more accurate you'll be. Now, do you have to do every little separate piece? No. But the more measurements you make, the better. Okay? Can anybody raise your hand and tell me how many centimeters you measured that to be? Read?
Like the entire strip of road?
Yes.
9.3 centimeters.
9.3. Did anybody get something close to that?
I got 8.6.
8.6. 8.5. 9.3. 8.7. Okay, so it sounds like 8.6 would probably be the average. So that's what I'm going to use. Okay? It does say about, so it doesn't have to be perfectly accurate, but I'm going to use 8.6 centimeters. I have no idea how many miles that is, but I do know that 2.2 centimeters is 60 miles. So I told you yesterday, now when you write it as a ratio, you multiply the two numbers that are diagonal with each other. So which two numbers are diagonal with each other? 8.6 and 60. Okay, so I'm going to multiply that. I'm just going to go over here and do it. 8.6 times 6, and I'm going to add a 0 to it. You good with that? All right, 36, 48, and 3. 51. So 51.6. If I would add a 0 to it, how would that change it? 516 divided by 2.2. So 516 divided by 2.2. Move the decimal, add a 0. 22 and a 51. 2 times. That'd be 44, 76. 22 and a 76. 3 times. That'd be 66. 22 and 100. 4 would be 88. Okay, now it does say about on my original page, so it doesn't have to be accurate. So I'm just going to say about 234 miles. Good with that? Again, if it ever says about, you can just put those little squigglies. That means approximately. So I would say if you're anywhere from 230 probably to 280, I would accept that. 220 to 280. Somewhere in there. Depends on how accurate, how much you measured. Okay, explain how you know. Well, I would just say C ratio probably. 2.2 centimeters is 60 miles we set on the scale. And I measured 8.6 centimeters, cross multiply, divide. So driving at a constant speed of 70 miles per hour, would it be possible to make this trip in 3 hours? Well, if you go 70 miles an hour, how far can you make it in 1 hour? 70 miles. 2 hours. 70 times 2 is 140. 3 miles. Or 3 hours, excuse me. 210. 70 times 3. So I can make it 210 miles at 70 miles an hour for 3 hours. So, can you make this trip driving 70? Absolutely not. How could I explain why that is? I will end up 24 miles short. Of my destination. Leave you stranded probably about right here. No comments on my stick figure. All right, number 2. A local park is in the shape of a square. Map of a local park is made up of a 1 inch is 200 feet scale. If the park is shown as a square on a map, each side is 1 foot long. How long is each side of the square? Because this is in inches, I need to make 1 foot into inches, so I'm going to say 12 inches. So if 1 inch equals 200 feet, what would 12 inches equal? Who thinks they know the answer to that one? Rylan.
200, or no, 2,400.
Yeah, multiply again. 200 times 12. Divide by 1, which won't make a difference. 2,400, got a label? Yeah, make sure you label correctly. You say inches there. That's not a very big park. Hey, do I need to list the other sides? No, because it's a square. Problem 2B, or not to be. If a straight path is in the park is 900 feet long, how long would the path be when represented on the map? Well, 1 inch equals 200 feet. How many inches equals 900 feet? Do you see two numbers that are diagonal to each other there? Which two? Which two numbers are diagonal? 1 times 900 divided by 200. So what is 900 divided by 200? And you can simply get rid of the zeros. How many times does 2 go into 9? 4.5 inches. It is on the map. Okay, so it's going to be a smaller number, or unless you have a really big piece of paper. Right? Make sure your label is important. Make sure your decimal's in the right spot. 4.5 inches is a big difference than 45 inches or 45 feet. That's a big piece of paper, right? Make sure your labels are correct. Questions?